Environmental considerations. You want to make sure that you look through the bunny's environment. Is there anything that is a danger to the bunny? This is little Cece. He likes to stick his legs through the bars. So I got this picture. I said, now I know how you broke your leg. So then this other picture is a bunny, wasn't old and decrepit, but just a little bit weaker, and a little old. Well, she was old, but she wasn't decrepit. She had a hole in her blanket. She got her leg caught, and it cut off the blood supply. And so, really, really, really severe and very expensive to try to save that foot. You also want to look and if there's different levels, steps that bunnies maybe like they used to go and run up it, now they kind of go to the edge and they're like. So uneven surfaces, even sometimes with the blankets. I always think if there's like folds in the blanket that they might trip over them, or if the blanket is skidding and moving, you can get some of those rubbery material. I had it here. You can get some of that stuff that you put under rugs. And so this is just a little sample piece of it, and that will help to keep things from sliding. Obviously, you want to make sure that bunnies don't eat these. So, sometimes if the blankets are too thick, like with quilts, they might be like sinking in, and then it's like more effort to kind of get to get through it. Distances to food, water, and litter. Again, they're like, it's all the way over there. I'll get it later, or they want to just like you don't want to go up and down the stairs every time. The cage bars, obviously, you don't want them to get their legs caught. Sometimes some of the toys might have holes in them. Some of the willow wreaths and things like that. You get conscious of what could my bunny get its leg stuck in that it can't get out of because it can't use its legs very well. So you do want to be very conscious of that. Comfort. A lot of times you can do things to make them comfortable. This is little Tiffany, who was very arthritic and frail, and she was having trouble standing up well and staying comfortable. So we used rolled up towels underneath her and on sides of her to try to help support her in a position to make her comfortable. And we placed the whole thing in like a huge litter box. And that way it just kind of kept it all together. And then also I did this once for one of my bunnies who she was in there, and then her boyfriend could kind of come in and out and visit her, okay, because she couldn't really walk. And then the bunny's in the middle, the one on the left, he's very, very dizzy. He's going through the acute phase of E. caniculi, and so he's laying on his side, but he's got kind of the support, and then his girlfriend is sitting there hanging out with him. And then the food, notice, is right in front of his face. On the left there, that's Marshy, and emotional support, play. She's got balls. She's got the ball with the bells in it that she can ring. She has this little house that she sometimes likes to crawl into. So giving them things, that are going to keep them occupied and so that they can play with. Okay, so then techniques to practice. So we're going to be going over how to express a bladder. We're going to go over physical therapy, some of them specific for head tilt rabbits, massaging, stretching, passive range of motion. And passive means that we're doing it for them as opposed to they're actively doing it. And range of motion is, if this is your joint, this is the range that it moves. Okay, so that's range of motion. And then this is flexion. This is extension. Okay, and balancing and proprioception. Balancing, obviously, keeping your balance, and I'm shifting my muscles to kind of help keep myself balanced. Proprioception is knowing where your legs are. So your brain knowing where your legs are as you're stepping up. You don't have to look down and place your feet, but your brain knows just from knowing where those steps are, where to put your feet. And so a lot of times when the signals aren't getting all the way back down there, the rabbits will then, kind of trip and their back feet will get caught on the edge of the litter box or they'll be dragging. And then mobility support, cart use. And you can see here's Rufus in his younger days when he used to go and visit and be in his cart, and some more pictures of carts. So I just want to touch on that real briefly. So here's Marshy on the left, not happy, very not happy. She's not comfortable with this cart. And then Scooty in one of her homemade versions, and she liked this cart. And then Rufus, and then that was something somebody had showed me that was also a cart that they had worked on. And so there are carts that you can purchase. And these are some carts that I've purchased. This is from Doggone Wheels. Sorry. This is from Doggone Wheels, and this one, I can't remember the name. I can think they have the, oh, I can get you the Best Friend Mobility. Best Friend Mobility is this cart. And this, so Dog on Wheels, what you do is you give them all the measurements, and then they will send the cart, and they will help you with fitting it to the rabbit. And so you can get the two-wheel, you can get the four-wheel if the bunny is weak in the front end, or sometimes with bunnies that are very long. And like Rufus was a very long bunny, and so he actually ended up, he had a four-wheel cart. Marshy, because of her fracture being so far up, she's going to need support under her belly, so she's probably going to need a four-wheel cart. And in this cart is a dog-cat cart, and it comes with these things, which I'm not crazy about. And it was cheap. I bought it to play around with it, and I haven't really done much with it. But I always kind of thought, well, I could cut these out, and I could sling something in here, and I could attach a harness here. And the thing is, it's just like cheap parts kind of a thing. And the other thing, so you can see playing around with it, and it's not all tightened up. This one I think was like $150. This one that I bought probably 10 years ago was, I think, $200. So I don't think it's much more than that, maybe $300 at this point. Now the problem is this harness is not great. It doesn't work great for bunnies. And so my dream, I have all these ideas, but I don't have the ability or the time to act on it, is I think a harness like this on the front end of the bunny is much better for them than just a strap, because the straps just kind of don't sit right. So I always thought, well, get a harness like this, but then you need something on the side to kind of attach to the bars, and then so that would be the front half, and then for the bottom half, this is what comes with Dog on Wheels, actually. And I'll show you how it attaches to the cart in a minute. But what they say is with the Dog on Wheels cart is that you got to get them used to it. You don't just pop them in the cart and they're like, "Hey, great, thanks." The other thing is that the cart use is for when they're being supervised. You're home, you're going to be home for a few hours. Hey, you want to have some cart time? And they can run around and have some fun. You're not going to leave them in it. Okay, though I did have one owner who worked close to home and had a video camera aimed on her bunny and could leave him in the cart, and if he fell over, she ran home. And so you can do that, but in general, unless you're lucky enough, you're going to just do it when you're there to supervise. And so, and Scooty used to turn herself over constantly because she was just, boom. And then, oh, good. Scooty? Yeah, aw. Okay, and so what Dog on Wheels recommends is that, so this, if you can all see this, okay, so what happens is that their little hind legs go through there. This little vent area is where their genitals go. Okay, and then it gets strapped around over the body, so it's kind of like little pants here, little underwear. Okay, and then what you do is, so first you secure them in that, and they send you with these long things. So you put your bunny's butt in there, and you go for a walk, and you're supporting their back end. And what you're doing is you're training them to wear this and to start walking. And of course, I did that for, so I did that for my first bunny that I got this cart for like 10 years ago, and he did okay with this. And then, so you've got it on the bunny. It's got all these little clips. And usually the bunnies you can barely get them to sit still for all this. Okay, so you get this clipped onto your bunny, and then usually you would clip them into the cart. Sometimes you can have it already on the cart and put the bunny in, but it varies. But usually the bunnies are pretty antsy, and they're like, "Let me go! What are you doing to me?" So, and then this all clips in here. Okay, and so now you can kind of see how the butt would sit in the cart, comparing to the picture as well. And there also is, like, if I can go back. Actually, no, yeah, you can see it on the third picture there. Over on the left, his back legs are being supported by a little thing hanging off the back because he couldn't use them at all. so they were just kind of holding them up out of the way. With some bunnies who have some mobility, you can have their legs be in a normal position, but then also sometimes if they can't flex their legs totally, then their butt might have to be higher up, and that's where all the cart adjustments come in, and that's where the people can help you with that. Now, they're not, it's kind of a hard thing because you're dealing with someone over the phone or over the internet to try to get it coordinated, and one of the things I had wanted to do is I wanted us to be starting to do that, where we could get rabbits fitted and go through all of that, but it just never really happened. We don't have a person to kind of take it over and do it. So it is hard to get it done, but once you get it done, they're great. You can certainly do homemade carts, and you can see, with this one, what I did is I got the harness on her and then kind of had it clipped over to here instead of this, but she really just needed a lot more belly support, so she just wasn't happy in it at all. And then you can see what I did for her is I used the harness that she's wearing and then some clips, some of those carabiner clips, and then hook that to this little plastic basket that was cut out that her prior foster mom had made this basket, and then she'd gotten these wheels from like some toy hobby model shop that you could kind of put and attach to it. And so I actually have like a box of bin o goodies that came with Scooty from all of the practice wheelchairs and the different versions that she had of the wheelchairs. And so you can kind of make your own type of wheelchair, and and then we used diapers to kind of pad it and soften it, and kind of because of her legs being so abnormal. The other thing also is in terms of other types of bedding and support, certainly we have here, like this is a bunny bed that has a larger size, and sometimes this is really nice to cup them that they can kind of hang out in there. This is just one of those bathroom rugs. It's just very thick and nice, and you can easily wash that. This I had found online. It's like a European, like a UK bunny rescue, and it got washed, so it kind of doesn't look so good. But they basically sewed it so that you have these things on each side, and then the bunny can be in the middle if they're weak or if they've got a head tilt. So I think it's a great idea, but how do you clean it? So the other thing people have mentioned is you can take bricks and cover them with a towel, and that would give them more support.